You're welcome to Messiah Revelation Ministry. In this video, we are discussing just about the warnings, what is happening in the world, showing that prophecies are being fulfilled. The Lord used Daniel to give us a forecast of what is going to happen in the end of days. The Lord used Apostle John, who was in prison in the island of Patmos, to tell us what is going to happen in the end of days. Their prophecies are being fulfilled, and we are in the end of days. The prophets are gone, but the watchmen of this time, we have divine responsibility to let you know that what the prophets Daniel, Apostle John, Ezekiel, what they said are being fulfilled, and you have to be alert and open your eyes. And in this video, we are talking about digital passports, vaccination digital passports. I watched prophecynewswatch.com, and it's an end-time organization focusing on what is happening in the world as a fulfillment of prophecy. Prophecynewswatch.com. They had a publication on November 30th, 2020 about digital passports. The International Air Travel Association, they are planning a digital passport, vaccination passports. What is it? A digital passport? It's an app. It will tell airlines, or it will alert airlines to know whether a traveler, a passenger has digital passports that will signify that that passenger has been vaccinated for COVID-19. And without that, you cannot travel. And so this is what International Air Travel Association is doing. So you can see that in the time we are in, artificial intelligence is working very well. Is being used by the system to create the protocols and the structures that is part of the new world order and the global reset. And so now digital passports are coming, a mobile application that will alert an airline to know whether a potential passenger has already been vaccinated for COVID-19. Without that mobile application, it will be very difficult to monitor that information. But thanks to the mobile application, now airlines can know whether you have been vaccinated for COVID-19. If you don't have that vaccination, then you cannot travel. And so you can see that in the end times, technologies are being used, and so technological companies are being important in the end times. And so I recall the vision that I had. I did a video on that vision where I saw Soros Corporation, signifying George Soros, a philanthropist and a part of the New World Order, and his links with two technology companies. I did a video on that, and so now we can see that technology companies are playing a leading role in the digital vaccination project. And now the International Air Travel Association is endorsing that project. What is going on in the airline travel? Australia, Qantas Airline is now planning to require passengers to have vaccination immunity certificate before they can travel on international air travel. And in Korea, my research also has shown that they are planning to do the same. And it's been a global norm that vaccination is now a condition for lifting lockdowns and also quarantine. So if you want the quarantine to be lifted, if you don't want to be quarantined when you travel to some countries, then you have to show that you have been vaccinated. So vaccination is now going to be a requirement for lifting quarantines and also lifting lockdowns. And even though the Bible talks about pandemics, the Bible did not specifically show the link between pandemics and the mark of the beast. But now you can see that with the COVID-19 and the wearing of masks and now the requirement of vaccination, you can see that there's a link between a global pandemic and the mark of the beast. Eventually, what is being used to deal with the COVID pandemic is a precursor to what is going to be done with regard to the coming mark of the beast. Now, vaccination certificate, digital passports is going to be required for international travel. Is it going to be required for domestic travel? Definitely yes. When the exercise has achieved a high degree of success internationally, I predict that it will be a requirement for domestic travel. So there's going to be a short time where you cannot travel domestically and also internationally if you don't have COVID vaccination certificate in the form of a digital passport. So it's very serious. These things are happening at the time that the world is watching a trend where civil liberties are being trampled upon. And as I'm talking, it's reported by prophecynewswatch.com that in Belgium, the police will enforce lockdown regulations these coming holidays, that is Christmas holidays 2020, and it will be a standard for the authorities to enforce lockdown conditions. So Belgium is doing that. Not only Belgium, even the United States. There's a state called Oregon. Oregon is a state in the United States, and the governor has come out with a directive, and the directive encourages neighbors to spy on their neighbors. People to spy on their neighbors and to report them if they are not observing lockdown conditions, quarantine conditions in the state of Oregon. So this is a big brother scenario where the big brother, the government, is watching over your shoulders. Now, thanks to modern technology, it will be very easy for governments to monitor what people do inside their homes. Even when the government agents are not inside your home, they'll be able to monitor what you do thanks to modern technology, mobile technology, including your own cell phone that you are using. So when we talk about the restrictions on people's liberties in the time that we are in, then I remember the vision that the American pastor had, Dana Coverstone, where he saw the Statue of Liberty coming down. The Statue of Liberty is a symbol of human rights in the United States. So when that statue is falling apart, symbolically it shows that the day is coming, dark days are coming in the United States where people's liberties will be trampled upon. And now you see in Oregon, the governor in the state of Oregon telling citizens in Oregon to report their neighbors who violate quarantine conditions. So liberties are falling down, and you remember the video that I did on a vision someone had that the Eiffel Tower, the tallest monument in France, is falling down. It's symbolically showing that all civilizations are falling apart, and even in nations like France, where they value liberty and people's freedom, which was the basis of the French Revolution, they are all seeing people's liberties being trampled upon as we approach the time of the new world order and a global reset, at the time where the Antichrist is coming in and using all forms of control to be able to have the control over the global population. The Eiffel Tower is the tallest monument in Paris, in France, and it symbolizes that all civilizations are falling apart. In New York City, in United States, this coming holidays 2020, police will mount checkpoints on bridges and other parts of the city to monitor the observance of quarantine protocol. So you see the police system being strengthened even in the United States. In New York City, the iconic city. So things are changing. And two questions that we have to ask ourselves. These are the measures that people are taking, requiring quarantines and lockdowns, and now digital passports to show that somebody has been vaccinated for COVID-19 before he or she is allowed to travel on an airline. These things are happening. So what would be the condition when the COVID situation becomes worse, or where we have another pandemic or pandemic that is more serious than COVID-19? We can deduce that then the control and the restrictions will increase. It will increase, definitely, because if we're seeing all these restrictions and changes in people's lives and the trampling upon people's liberties, we can see that when more pandemics come into the world, then it will lead to something more severe. At the time of making this video, it's reported that two companies have come out with vaccines, and Pfizer and Moderna. They are two pharmaceutical companies. And it is expected that people will have more than one dose of the vaccines to be able to recover from the effects of COVID-19. 2 doses. And will people have 2 doses? Will they be interested in getting the vaccination? Some will and some will not. But at least we are at the time where the vaccines are ready and ready to be rolled, and governments will force their citizens to take the vaccines. So what used to be a conspiracy theory is now a reality. Prophecies are being fulfilled. The digital ID we're talking about is a requirement for travel, and it will be imposed. The International Air Travel Association is endorsing that. The United Nations is also endorsing that, and it will be a normal thing. So people will be used to it to the point that they will not question it. And that's how the Antichrist will come. He will come as a normal person, and nobody will notice him until it's too late. And you also have to remember that Jesus himself will come like a thief in the night without any warning. So the Antichrist will come without warning, and Jesus will also come without warning. But at least we know that we are in the season for these things, and it is imperative that we put our houses in order. The Israeli king Hezekiah, he was told by the prophet Isaiah that he's going to die and he must put his house in order. Luckily, all the things that we are saying now in this video is a warning that we are in the end times, or rather we are in the arrival times. The Antichrist has arrived. His system is now being implemented, and I believe that it is only a matter of time. The son of perdition, the man of lawlessness, the Antichrist, will be revealed. But now his protocols and his processes, his technologies, they are all in place, and you can see that the beast system is being prepared. 2021 will be a year of global reset. And when you see all these things coming together, prophecies are being fulfilled, and Luke chapter 21 verse 28 says that you then should lift your head high, because you know that the time for your redemption is near. Prepare yourself. Prepare for digital identification and digital passport for vaccinations. It is coming, and when you see these things coming, then you know that we are not in normal days. We are in the end times, the time for the coming of the Antichrist and the time for judgment. This is Messiah Revelation Ministry, spreading the word of the Lord to all the four corners of the earth.